Hello everyone, it's Armstrong here from Other Miniatures, and today we're gonna be working on some Pack Fleet fighters. So let's just start from the list of equipment we're gonna be using. So first of all, drill. That's gonna probably use the least out of everything. Secondly, we're probably gonna need a knife. Not even 100% sure if we're gonna need it. Clippers. Some sort of a super glue. And if you have them on hand, bunch of files. Not necessarily as many as those, but that's our tools, yeah? So that's what we're gonna be using as the tools. Then materials, what we're gonna need as the materials. First of all, bases. So what I'm using for bases are those wooden discs. I got them on Amazon for, I don't really remember how much was it, but it was cheap as hell. Yeah. Secondarily, we're gonna need the body of the spaceships, which is gonna be our pegs. Yeah, I have them already disassembled. I have like 2 little drawers like that full of them, so we have plenty of that. And then we need some extra, gibbons. So what I got are those wooden balls, wooden half spheres, and as well I have rhinestones and stuff like that. And the final thing, for our stands, we're gonna be using toothpicks. So we are going really budget on this, and I think that if we exclude the tools, what I have on this table is probably, well, it's not that much of a budget because I spent about 20 quid, yeah, but for that you can probably build an entire armada, yeah. So let's start building stuff. So first of all, we have to figure out how many ships and what kind we're gonna be building. So for this, we can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, yeah, at tops, of a small fighters, and maybe 3, if you build a bit bigger. So I'll just start from something a little bit fancy. So I would like to get a couple of those little balls. So we have those here. Let's just take 10, and we're gonna make 2 bases of 5 spaceships. So we're gonna put that aside, and we're gonna have to start building the spaceships themselves. So some of those pegs look horrible, so you're gonna try to keep them for wrecks. And again, not all of them are equal size. Yeah? So you see, these 2 are completely different sizes. So we just need to roughly match the shape. Yeah, so I have roughly the same size and shape. So we are using my this is a Polish version of super glue, basically called a drop. I need to clean this nozzle. That's probably the most I'm gonna need the clippers for as well. Well, and for cutting the toothpicks in half. Yeah, but we have this. Then we just go. Oh, come on. Need to actually put a little bit more super glue than I would expect to add to such a tiny project, because it tends to soak into the wood very quickly. Yeah, and then it doesn't connect. So yeah, but like I said, I don't want to have very basic ships in here, so it's gonna be a little bit more messing around. This is roughly the shape that I need. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add this, just sticking out roughly to here. I know it is all tiny and barely visible, but I just want to do it halfway through. I think that those toothpicks are actually not toothpicks, those what do you call them, pegs, yeah, are made out of bamboo, so they have this kind of bamboo texture. And and thanks to that do not soak the super glue that quickly. So we have this. Now we're gonna have to check if that ball gonna fit in here. It's gonna be a tight squeeze. Yeah, so let's just grab one of those files. I always like the brown ones because they are the roughest ones. And just give this a little bit of sanding on one and the other side then. There we go. And just a little bit of super glue, like I said, it have to be more than you expect. I'm gonna be putting this in here. It feels always so flimsy when you build it. You see, it actually soaks up the entire super glue straight away. Let's try it again. So we have one, and then we have to wait. And if you can see it from the side, it's actually still quite a difference. It have to be more flattened before we can actually glue it together. So let's try it without destroying the entire thing. And of course it fell off. Yeah, instead of gluing to the ship, it glued to my fingers, because why would it go anywhere else? But let's try it either way. All right. And now the overkill tool, which is the clamp. And we keep it together to give a chance for the super glue to dry. Yeah. Alright, so we have one. Now it's time to build 9 more. So I'm gonna be back in a few seconds. Alright, so now we have all of the actually 9 and not 10 ships finished, and we're gonna use 3 bases because those ships are quite big and there's gonna be 3 of them per base. Yeah, so we need to mount them, and for mounting we're just gonna be using toothpicks, nothing really complicated. You take a toothpick, cut it in half. Of course you first clean super glue from this. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be exact. Actually, it is preferable if they're gonna be some of them longer, some of them shorter, because it's gonna give you variation in the height of the ships on the base. Yeah, and this, then we're gonna do this one exactly in half-ish. So we have the poles, and now I think that I ran out of the super glue that I was using. So let's just grab this one. This one isn't the cleanest either, but hopefully there is still something in the bottle. So we're just gonna grab one of those and a dot of super glue and into the base. Yeah, probably the connection point gonna be the weakest point. It would be nice if I have the super glue accelerator, but I ran out of it. So another dot. Yeah. And just stick it in. Oh, this hole is tiny. Oh no, I just didn't hit it correctly. And the third one. And we have, one of the bases ready. Now let's just do the same with the other two. And one, and we're gonna take one shorter, 2, and a 3. So 2 of them are actually equal, and then we're gonna take another one. As you can see, I didn't drill the holes exactly in the same places on each base, because you know, not every single one gonna be flying in the, what do you call it, a unified way. And 2 and number 3. Okay, so I would normally glue them straight away, but what I want to do, I want to paint the bases and the bars first, and the ships as well. So what I'm gonna do, 3 of those ships gonna be like a office captain, you know, the group leaderships, and the 6 of them gonna be normal. So I'm just gonna undercut them, and this gonna be just painted black, because if you want this to represent space is mostly black. So that's what we're gonna do. So now we have our bases painted, our regular fighters painted, and our captain painted. Yeah, so we are still keeping within that red/black color scheme. Yeah, and I use those circles, you know, as some sort of a power weaponry, whatever. Yeah, now we just have to attach it to the bases. So the little depression in there is a perfectly fine place to attach it. Again, you know, a super glue accelerator would be nice, but I don't have one. So the kind of leading ship gonna be here, and maybe just ever so slightly, you know, starting taking the turn. I know that in space it wouldn't really show like that, but who cares? It is for this entire thing to look different and better and whatever. Yeah. And number 3, the paint is still a little bit wet, so there we go. That's our first base of the spaceships. Yeah, it's representing, you know, like a squadron or a swarm or whatever you want to call it. It has that leader, you know, and everything. So it's a nice little touch, and we can just build the second one very quickly. We're gonna this time around put the leading ship, you know, and this time they're gonna be climbing, maybe, you know, going higher. So I have 1, of course, 2, and the number 3. That's the thing about those little things, you know, you can make up your own stories when you are building the entire thing. And this time around we're gonna get the last one in here. Our second ship. And the number 3. There we go. So that's it for today. We're gonna be building more of those things, because I have plenty of bases, plenty of the little thingies, and, you know, plenty of ideas. This is just one of those, you know, those balls, you know, those wooden balls are really coming in handy, and I have a lot of different designs for those little ships. Yeah, they basically can translate to the bigger ones, you know, they doesn't require any cutting, anything like that. And if you want to use them, you have basically a game ready piece in a very short time. You know, we built 3 bases for them very quickly. It took me, well, if I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons right now, it would take me much shorter, but it took me, I would say, most of the time was spent on sanding those balls, you know, to actually fit in between the 2 pegs. But if I didn't have to sand them, this build would took me probably 15 minutes. With the sanding, it took me about an hour and a half. Yeah? But if you like this video, please rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and whoever else want to watch. And everyone have a great day and take care.